Well, hi, my friends. This is Jay, and this is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. Counting down to the days before Christmas. How are you? Are you excited? Are you just worn out? Are you just like trudging through just to try to make it? Well, just hang in there. I'm sure once, as usual, when Christmas comes and you just have that feeling of being surrounded with family and friends, or just knowing that, another year, we've made it through just another year, you'll feel better and you'll have your spirit lifted. So, come on in, relax. I'm glad you're here. I'm excited. I have things to share, and we'll talk a little bit, and then, of course, I'll give you just a small tutorial this time. I like to end the year with something simple, because you've been so faithful to, to follow me and to give my designs a try. And so, at the end of the year, hey, I'm like you. Sometimes we need to just relax and just enjoy the time, enjoy the season, and enjoy each other. Well, let me tell you what's going on with me. First of all, it's been cold. The very first thing, let me just tell you what happened this morning. About 4 o'clock this morning, we had an earthquake. Well, we didn't have it in Tennessee, but we felt it here in Georgia. I just remember jumping up out of the bed screaming, "Oh my gosh, what's wrong? What's happening?" But by the time you kind of it registers in your mind and your brain kind of meet up, and it's over. It didn't last that long, at least for us. Now, I don't know how it went with the people in Tennessee, and I hope hope nobody got hurt or anything. But this is the second earthquake that I have experienced. We don't have them that often, but a couple of years back we had one that was in North Georgia, and it was a lot worse than this one. Our house is completely brick from slab to top and bottom, and I'm telling you, the windows rattle. We have storm windows. The windows rattle. The brick, I just thought I could just feel the house swaying. I can't imagine how the people living like in California and things or other places where this is the normal. This is not the normal for us. But that's how the morning started. It started with an earthquake, people. So let's just believe that, I'm telling you, that it will not, they said aftershocks, but hopefully it won't cause any damage or put any people in harm's way. All right, so to get myself into the Christmas mood, I went out the other day. I went out to Joanne. I didn't go out for Black Friday, remember. I just wasn't in the mood, and by the time I got through and cooking, and did you like my turkey? Ooh, that turkey was so good. Oh yeah, it looked big because of the way I took the picture, but we had turkey for like 3 or 4 days, but we didn't care. We love turkey. We like sandwiches, turkey sandwich, turkey this, turkey everything. But anyway, so I didn't go out for Black Friday. So the other day I decided to go over to Joanne's. I just need to get out and go see my friends over there and just get out with the people, just to get some energy up. Otherwise, if I sat here, I just like, oh man, I can feel myself just going down. Trying to think, oh, you need to decorate. Oh, you need to do this. Oh, you need to go buy. You need to make your menu for Christmas. What are you going to have? What are you going to serve? So I wanted to just clear my mind. And lo and behold, I went and I had a good time. They've added a lot of things at my Joann's, and I had coupons, but of course they fixed it so you can't use the coupons. So I bought, a few little pieces of yarn. I bought a couple of pieces of fabric. It was just the idea of going out. Bought some buttons. Everything I didn't need. Everything I didn't need. But what else are you going to do? So while I was standing in line, they didn't have a lot of people working that day or something, but anyway, so the lines had kind of backed up. So I was, we talked, the people were just real friendly. And I looked back and I saw a lady and I said, oh, hi, just like I normally would do. And she said, "You're that lady on the YouTube." Yes, she did. And guess what? I was in my sweatpants, my old shoes. I didn't have my hair done. I mean, I was just plain busted. It's amazing. If I try to look like this, nobody recognizes me. So I looked back and I said, "Well, how'd you know?" She said, "Oh, I just saw you on the YouTube." She said, "Oh, I follow you and I subscribe." I said, "Oh, well, thank you so much." And her name is, so of course I asked her name, and it's Linda Miller. So hi, my friend Linda. Joanne friend. So I just wanted to give her a little shout out and let her know it was so nice to meet you. She had on a cute, she said she was more of a crocheter, so she had on a real cute kind of I don't know if it was variegated, but there was yeah, kind of variegated. It was a hat and a scarf. You didn't think I noticed, but I did. And it was in like a tone of blue, like some blues, looked like some beiges or something, but it looked real pretty on her. So she had made her a nice little set, and it was cold that day, so she looked really good. So it was so nice to meet you. Hopefully we'll see each other at Joanne's again. And then, ta-da! Just the other day, I had to think of how I was going to set my little table up, you know. And I looked around. Now, people, I got so much decoration downstairs stacked in the big plastic tubs. I mean the big ones. But the thought of going down there to go through them in our basement, it's a finished basement, and we have big closets. Everyone had I have a big closet at this, you know, to keep some of my stuff, and like I said, I have the big things, but it was just easy to just go back to the Dollar Tree and just buy some more stuff. So I was out the other day, and I ran in and got some lights. Got plenty of lights downstairs, but just have to go down there and go through it. And then I got some more poinsettias and picked up a few little plastic balls. Just to, oh look, I was gonna ring my jingle bell. And got that. Isn't that cute? I thought that was pretty to put on my table here. So while I was in the store, I started talking to a lady. She was so nice, and so naturally, I don't know how it came about, but anyway, I let her know about my YouTube channel, and her name is Jody. So it's so nice to meet you. Look, a big surprise, isn't it? From what you see me in the store, look, big surprise. So she told me she was going to check it out. So I hope she'll see this nice shout out. Now, so now I want to tell you what. Let me get mine. So, I don't do a lot of shopping online because I have my little circle, and you know, it's just easy for me to just get in my car and go get what I need to get. So we get a lot of packages because my sons, they do a lot of buying. They buy from places all over for projects they're working on, or maybe an order or something they've got to design something for someone. So they're always having boxes delivered to the house because I'm here. And you know how people are stealing packages, they just follow the trucks around and just take the package. Well, it's easier for them to deliver them here, so they have FedEx or UPS or the mailman, the post office, just bring the package here. I can just let up the garage door and they can push them in, or if they need me to sign for a package. You know, sometimes I need to sign for certain things. So when my husband brought in the mail and the package and set it in, we have a little place on a counter just for mail and packages and things. I didn't look at it, didn't even think about it, because we always have packages, you know, and I know sooner or later somebody will come by and pick up the package, and I know I didn't order anything. Well, later on that evening, I was in my kitchen, and I thought, well, you know, I better fix us a bite to eat, and I had to move the package, and I was all like, when is somebody going to come and get this box? And lo and behold, I happened to look at the name, and look, my name is on the box. I could not believe it. I thought, well, I haven't ordered anything. And if I had noticed, if I had taken the time and looked, I would have noticed that the box is from Target. But since I really didn't look because I hadn't ordered anything, I just thought it was, you know, one of the guys' boxes they got to pick up. Well, I couldn't wait. I tore into this box. And of course, there was no name on the outside, just the target where they sent it from, where the location of the shipping place, but not who sent the box. So I tore in the box, and of course, when I saw the invoice, my sister sent me an early Christmas present. And she later, when I called her to let her know I got the box and how excited I was, what she said, well, I was out, and she has a lot of friends at church where they go on retreats, and they take a lot of trips, ladies' trips and women's trips, things like that. So she bought books for, several of her friends. So she went ahead and bought me one and bought herself one. And so, of course, she had mine shipped to me. So let me show you what she sent me. Oh, it's pretty. I'm excited. You ready? Look what my sister sent me. Is that pretty? Of course, that's our former First Lady, Michelle Obama. And this is her new book. The title is Becoming Michelle Obama, Her Life Story. And look, do we look like sisters? Do we look alike? But I had seen her making the rounds, talking about the book. I saw her on Oprah. I saw her on, a couple of other programs. And so I had an idea of what the book would be about, and how nice the book looks. And but I'm one of these, I would probably just, if I was going to buy it, I would have just waited after Christmas and just gone over to the Barnes & Noble. There's a big one, not a really large one near my house, and just bought it after Christmas. But my sister sent me the book, so now I have something to kind of, look forward. I won't start reading to the first of the year. Now, I have to read, it'll take me a while to read it, because my eyes are dry and I can't read, a long time, but I'm sure I will enjoy. Oh, look, there's pictures in here too. I didn't know there was going to be pictures. Oh, they're family pictures. Oh my gosh. There's her wedding picture. There's the babies the girls when they were little babies. Oh my gosh. So, this is exciting. So, I called her right away and let her know this was a beautiful gift. So, I'm going to sit it right here. Right there. What do you think of that? So that, of course, that lifted me and put me in the Christmas spirit. That I got a nice gift and something that I can really enjoy, and I can just keep and share. And after we can maybe read them together or something. So, what else did I have I wanted to show you? When I was looking, when I did the glad bags and I was looking for books, I ran across some other older books that I have. I have so many books. I ran across this really pretty book I've had for years. It's called The First Noel. This book was put out by the House of White Birches, because it's a hardcover. Oh, I love books, collecting their books. Every year, every time they come out with one, I just love the hardcover, because it's more like a library, like having my own little personal library. And this is just a really nice book. I forgot I had it until I was looking for things to put in my glad bag. Look at that. Just simple projects. Like I said, who knows what date, how long I've had this book. I don't even know where I bought it from. Just some very nice projects in here. Some beginner type projects. On my glad bag, if you look in the show notes, I put down the link. Yes, I think I did. I put the name of Libris and the link. It's where I would buy a lot of my used books, and they usually are in very good shape. I mean, they weren't just, they were very nice books, the ones that I bought. Now, I don't know if I bought this one through them, but you can find books that you can't find, that are no longer in the store. So, if you like to collect old books, then give them a try. Or there's Valor books. And I'm sure there are other ones. But anyway, I found the book. So I thought I'll put that out there. So now let me see if there's anything else that I was going to share with you, because I wanted to tell you I wanted to do something really simple and small. Do you remember, if you've been with me a long time, when I first came on, I did a room tour. That was the first video. It was supposed to be like that one and only video. And then I decided, well, let me do a second video. And that was the room tour. And I did my studio. I had it decorated for Christmas. And in that video, I had my Christmas tree up, and I had a lot of little gifts under the tree. And I went through some of the gifts, and I showed you how that I would make things at that time. And then I loved to box them. Just go ahead and put them in pretty white boxes and put big bows or something on them, and I would they just look so pretty. And if I ever needed something, see, it was boxed and ready to go. Well, I went through some of the boxes, and I remembered, I said, I never did share any of the simple little gifts. So here I go, pulling out all some of my big old plastic bins where I got a lot of samples, a lot of pulling back from that second video, and I found my Christmas, I'm going to call it Jay's Knit Gold Frankincense and Myrrh Christmas Cowls. What do you think of that? I thought, that's simple enough. It's really easy. It's pretty much like the little for guiding stitch that we worked on a project just recently, and I thought I'm going to show you because we're going to do it in the round. It's fun, it's fast, it's quick, and it doesn't take much yarn. So here's gold, here's frankincense, and I'm going to go through all the yarn. Look at the sparkles, and here's myrrh. Just a fun knit, and it's great. This is a great knit for beginners. If you're still new and you're still, Jay, I'm hanging with you. I'm gonna enjoy these projects. I'm gonna follow the steps, and of course, that's what I try to do, is take you step by step to make it easy, and show you little tips along the way too. Like I said, I'm not a professional knitter, but I am seasoned, and I've enjoyed. When I don't know what to do, I just do what I know. And I show you how to take a simple stitch and turn it into something that you can do. You can do this. I did this last night. I made this one. I was watching something on television. I can't even remember what it was now. Wasn't that interesting, but And then I listen a lot to the music channel, or I'll catch up on YouTube videos. But the little... it's just the same stitch over and over with some, guess what? We're going to work in 2x2 ribs on this one. So that'll be fun. Like I said, it's in the round, and the needles should be needles that you already have from working the sweaters. So I can't think of anything else. I want to just come on, and of course, I just want everyone to, after such a long year of ups and downs, and my gosh, and then, so many things, the fires and the floods, and I just hope the snow, and I hope we don't have a reoccurrence of the bad weather we had last year. And, it's different when somebody else's power go out, but when your power goes out, you get a different perspective. when you can't flip that heat switch on, it's a little different. So, but of course, we want to get through Christmas, and I want to wish everyone a very, very Merry Christmas. I want you to have wonderful holidays with your family and friends, and of course, I'm looking forward to, things that I want to, share with you for next year. I'm already thinking. And of course, after this, before Christmas, right before Christmas, I hope that I'm going to have my Jay's Christmas special. I've got some of the work of some of my beautiful YouTube friends, and I want to make sure every picture that it was sent in gets showcased to beautiful music, and let them know how much I appreciate it. So, but I can't, like I said, can't think of anything else. I've got lovely gifts. I've got lights twinkling behind me here. I've got gold, frankincense, and myrrh Christmas cowls to share with you in a nice tutorial. So, nothing else to do, but let's get started. Alright, so I'm ready to get started. And as you can see, I have my little cowl, so I'm just going to undo them real quick. And we're going to take an overview so you can see how simple and easy these are. These are strictly and really nice for last minute, because there's really no you don't have to come up with a formula or anything. I'm going to walk you through. It's just a few rows and a top and a bottom, and you're done. Bind off and you're done. So let's see if I'm backed out enough. We'll lay gold. There's let's see, we have gold. Okay, and then we have frankincense. Now, you know, gold, using the Christmas story, this is the gift that the 3 wise men brought. And so wouldn't this just make a perfect little gift? I just thought of just a simple name. And gold, of course, was something of value. And they came from different parts of the world, so they bought what was valuable in their particular part of the world at that time. So one bought gold, one brought frankincense. It's more like, let's see if I get it right now. It's more like an oil. It was a kind of a value, had great value, an incense, and from whatever part of the world he came from. And then myrrh was more like, they used it, let's see, can I remember what it... Well, I don't want to sound dreadful, but they used it to keep... it was even part of when people died, they used it to embalm people, to preserve. So that's what that was used for. So from that part of that, wise man brought something valuable from his part of the world. So now we have all 3. Of course, now you're going to do it in different colors. This is just my little to get my Christmas tutorial in. You can, and as you can, once I go through the yarns, you can pick any color you want. But it's the thought that counts. So, simple gift to just, give somebody, just to make somebody feel special. Or yourself, because I'm wearing these. Okay. So, let's go over it real quick. Like I said, this is just, maybe I'll just take one. Let's just move some of these. Let's see which one will show up the best. All of them. Let's see. We'll do the blue one. Or the green one. Let's do the green one. It'll show up really well. Okay, I just want to make sure it will show up on the background here. Okay, so as you can see, it is just a big tube. And when I open it up, you can see we're going to be working in the 2x2 rib, top and bottom. And then if you look, there's this little section of little, I was trying to make them look more like little baubles. There's texture. Now this stitch is just similar to the stitch we just finished a couple of tutorials back. And the reason I didn't use that yarn over stitch is because it lays flat. It didn't have a real texture. It's more smooth. But this, just a simple, they call it forgetting stitch, where you increase, like yarn over, and then right after that you decrease. Knit 2 together. Just that quick. Yarn over, knit 2 together. Yarn over, knit 2 together. And it makes a nice little texture. And but it doesn't really work that well if you knit this flat. So I started to knit. I have some that are flat, and I'll show you that maybe a little later. Because the stitch, just the effect of the stitch, increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing. It has a slant to it. So when you're doing just a plain scarf, it takes a lot longer, and then the fabric will have a kind of a lean, a slant to it that you can't correct. I mean, you can still wear it. It's still pretty, but not like, so by putting it in the round, see, you don't notice the slant in the stitch because it's just all in there with just enough lace, a see-through eyelet that you can, that it makes it look pretty. What do you think of that? And like I said, we're going to be knitting in the round, and I have 3 different lengths this way, or lengths. Okay, for a small, and I'll put this on a sheet. I guess I'll try to write up a sheet for you to look at. But this short, say a short would be like 120 stitches. I represent medium or the medium length. This, see how long it is, and I cast on 140 stitches. Everybody's gonna you pick one of these 3. Or if you are just tall, or you want one that's just longer, and perhaps it will wrap, depending on how tall or how your size, 160. So 120, 140, and 160 stitches. And then, in real time, ta-da, I'm going to work a headband. I'm just going to work a headband just so that I can get it done. Here, this goes with the blue one. In case you wanted to, or you had time to do a little extra. And then we'll go over the stitches for that and the needle and everything. So, what do you think of just something simple? This is one of those, when you don't know what to do what you know. I know this stitch because I can do it in my sleep. And all I had to do was decide on a nice little stretchy band, which I went with, most of my sweaters are 1 by 1, but on headwear, hats and things like that, or scarves, I like the 2 by 2. It just looks really nice. So, all right, the next thing we need to talk about are the needles, and I'll show you any other examples. I had a whole bunch of these, and I got so many samples in so many plastic containers. I don't know where half of my stuff is. I need to make a map of all my stuff. Okay, be back in just a minute. So, okay, back in the day, when, like I said, back in that video about when I first came on YouTube, I showed you how I would just take, and these are just like little bits of yarn that I had. This is what I do with my extra leftover yarn that's what I'm trying to say. I would just take and make these little, like I say, cowls. Here's one, because, I mainly use medium weight yarn. So any medium weight yarn will just work just fine. I have no idea. I've had this for years. I have no idea what color. But you see, it's the same little... Of course, I could change it up, but it was working. And like I said, as soon as I would make them, I was just bored. I wasn't on YouTube then. I just make them and put them in pretty boxes and go ahead and tie them up. And when I needed a gift, look. This one I even turned into, I don't wear a lot of hats, and I don't do a lot of hats. But this one I had some yarn left from whatever I was making, or just some extra yarn, and I turned it into a hat. Same thing. And then do your normal decrease at the top. Just a standard basic decrease like you do in most little beanies or baby hats or whatever. And have the 2 by 2 rib. So see it, that made a nice little gift. So I would, like I said, back in the day, I would just go ahead and box it all up, have it all ready, and then someone at work or somewhere, if I needed a gift, see, it was all ready. And then this was, like I said, just some yarn. I have no idea. It was just left over. I don't know. I was trying to make some little flowers or something. Like I said, that's been quite a while ago when I first came on YouTube. But that's pretty. That's some pretty yarn, too. I wonder what yarn this is. I didn't see a cowl, so I must not have had much. Here's one. Just out of, just some basic medium weight yarn. All right. So, now you know that it's medium weight yarn. which is a good thing because, you know, most of people that follow me, we like medium weight yarn. And, well, I'm telling you, I got bukus of it. All right, so let me just go through a few just to show you some of the ones I use and examples. All right, right off the bat, one of the nicest yarn if for birthdays or something special, something with a look for yarns with sparkle. Since this is Christmas, I picked up sparkle. So here is Karen's Simply Soft Party. It is just perfect for this. If you have at least one skein, hey, you're good to go. Here's some in another color. I won't go through all the colors. You just go. They just got a lot of colors. I don't even know what this is. Violet sparkles. They're just simple names, but you can see the pretty sparkles in it. You know, it's not high-end yarn, but it's great. And you can always, you know, save yourself some money with a coupon. All right, and then, oh, here's another party. Karen's Simply Soft Party. I have it in all colors. I even have that taupe. That taupe is pretty. I keep saying, oh, Jam, I need to do myself one in the taupe. But see, I have it in all colors. And then I was looking through my stash, just trying to use up some of this yarn, people. I found some old loops and threads from Michael's, Impeccable. And it's that's the one I did the gold with. It's kind of a cream color, and it has gold flecks, that little gold strand running through it. And you definitely don't need, but like I said, one skein. There's 217 yards. You may be able to get all three out of this one skein. A cowl, an ear warmer, or a headband, and maybe a simple hat, like I shared. Then I was at Walmart one day, and they had some yarn on clearance. And it was some of this Red Heart with Love, and it's metallic. And so some skeins didn't have the band, so I guess that's why they had it on clearance. But I didn't care. I just picked it up. I knew I could just rewind it. But this one had the band on it, and you can see they always give you a lot of yardage, 200 yards in this. So this is the one that I made my green. This is the one that I made my green. So in real time, I think I'll make the headband as we stitch this, using this yarn and using this really, really simple little stitch. So now, like I say, like the others, you don't want it with the sparkles. You know, maybe the person you want to give it to doesn't really care about sparkles. Then you would just use US, just medium weight yarns. Now for our needles. These are needles that we have used before, and I have, I share it with you. If you're still pretty new, and I suggest using bamboo needles, only because it holds the stitch on. And as you see, once we start doing these yarn overs, you're going to be so glad that you worked with some bamboos, and not have these yarn overs just fall off. It's a pain to try to get them back on, and then what happens, you wind up having to pull things out. So I have some clovers. Now this was some I got one year when Tuesday Morning had a big pallet, a big load of needles. So I bought these. They were called Takumi's Velvet, and this is a US number 8, and it's 29 in length. So for cows, I have certain needles. I will use a 29-inch or sometimes a 24. Sometimes you can find a 24, but you can always find a US 29 in the bamboos. Okay, and for the headband or ear warmers, a US number 8, 16 in length. 16, the number's 16 in length, but it's a US number 8. Does that make sense? I don't know why I'm off tonight. I don't know why I'm botching everything. All right, so there's nothing to do now, but let me put a little sheet up just to kind of help you out, and then we'll start stitching. We'll cast on, and, we'll just talk a little while we knit. Back in a minute. right, so I'm all set up and I'm ready to go. I, of course, typed up a information sheet that so you had a chance to look at it, and of course I'm going to walk you step by step through that information sheet. For real time, to knit this in real time, I'm going to knit this, I'm going to just call it headband, and it's done on a US, I'm using bamboo, US number 8, and they're 16-inch in length. So it's a 16, it's a needle that we've used before on our sleeves. So you should have one. If not, like I say, get yourself a coupon. Okay? So I'm using that, and I'm going to use this green because I had this much left over from that skein that I worked this neck warmer from, or that cowl. So I had that much left, and so I'm just going to use that. So as we get started to knit, like I say, you had a chance to look at the information sheet, I'm using medium weight yarn. You can use medium weight yarn or whatever size needle you want. Okay, eventually you'll customize this. You'll get this down to the number of stitches or how you like it. But just remember, we're knitting in the round, so we need to have an even number. For the cowl, I gave you 3 lengths. A short length, you cast on 120 stitches. For a medium length, which is what I use on all of mine, is 140 stitches. And if you just want something longer, 160 stitches should give you a nice cowl. And like I said, we're going to be doing a 2x2 rib, and we're going to be working in the round, so we want an even number. All right, let's see. So the first thing I need to do is just start casting on. And I'm casting on 80. That's just a nice size for my head for this headband. If you know 80 is a little too small for you, well then you would just go up. You have to go up 4 stitches to the next number that's even. So you'd go up to 88. All right? Or if you need to go down. But you're going to, like I say, you're going to customize this. So let me show you what we're going to do, what you're going to also need. All right, so I have my yarn, but I want to show you, I'm going to share 2 tips with you right off the bat to help you. If you're a seasoned knitter or you got your own thing and you've been doing hats and you do stuff like this all the time, I don't try to change anything. I don't want you to change anything. Just continue to do what you're doing. But if you're new and you're still looking for a little help and you're not sure, then I try to put in a few little tips that just helped me when I was trying to, teach myself, when I was walking myself through it. And so, one of the first things I want you to do is when you get ready to cast on, go get yourself a little, first of all, if you don't have a counter or anything, I'm sure you got a table or something, but get yourself a hand towel or a bath towel. Put it down. I'm going to show you how easy it is once we start working in the round to get it right the first time and not have to pull it out because you have a twist. See, my counters, I already have a towel on mine, see. But just get yourself a little bath towel, a little hand towel, okay? The next thing I want you to do, along with your 8s, number 8's circular, I want you to get a little, this is a double-pointed needle. It can be any little size. It can be metal, it can be bamboo, it can be plastic, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be real thick. But just get extra needle because I'm going to show you how. You ask me, how do I get my cast on and it looks so nice? Okay, because I always cast on with one of these double-pointed needles up under my needle. Always. No exception. Always. And I'll show you how, why. So first thing I'm going to do is pull out some yarn. Now, there's all kind of ways of counting the yarn. I don't go into all that, because I know just from experience, if I do my arms out wide, you can't see it on camera, but if I spread my arms out wide, that's about 100 stitches for me. So I want to cast on. I only need to cast on about 80 stitches. So I'm going to just spread my arms out, just wide and maybe a few extra inches. And then I'm simply, now I need to get back in the camera. I know I was way off the camera. Then I'll put a slip knot. I just make a knot. I just, make a knot. I don't get into little things that drive people up the wall. Because everyone you will have to find your own feel for knitting. Don't be disturbed if you can't knit or hold your yarn like someone else, or do it just like someone else. You're going to find your own style, your own feel, your own rhythm. All right, but I have a little loop there where I made a knot, and I have this much of a tail. All right, so if I waste a little bit, our yarn don't cost that much. All right, so I put both needles in the loop, just like that. All right, and then, now, I do long tail cast on because that's what was taught to me, I guess, And when I was teaching seniors, though, I did for them the backwards loop where you just go, but that doesn't make it a great cast on. It's all right for beginners or senior, somebody who really is just, we're just doing it just for the fun, just for fellowship. But, and if you start that way, that's fine, but then you need to eventually get into a nicer and a better cast on so that you'll be able to go and knit any place. So a long tail cast on, I put my loop on, and then here's the working yarn. I'm right-handed, so my working yarn is always to my right. If you're left-handed, I assume it's the opposite. And then here's the long tail here. And I simply open that tail up with my thumb and my forefinger right here. I just put that in between, and then in one soft, easy motion, just one simple motion, I go under on this side, on the left side, and go over on the right side. And because I have this extra needle, it's going to feel funny at first, trying to hold both of them, but you'll get used to it. Trust me. And then you pull it tight. Now, again, the long tail cast on, I separate the two yarns right here like this, and then I grab the rest of the yarn with my other fingers. And then I go up under this side and over this side and pull it tight. Like I said, I'm not a beginner teacher, so, go under and over in one soft, smooth motion. Just under and over. Some people just like to, oh boy, they just be going so fast. They be, oh God, all it does is wear my hands out. I take my time. I'm older. I don't have, okay. Oh, so I go under and over. Spread them out, under and over. Spread it out, under and over. And that's the simple. That's the most universal use cast on. So that, it's one to know, and like saying, it's universal, and just it gets better with practice. Like I say, you will find your own way, you will get your own feel. I don't get into that, but I do try to share tips with you, like the towel, and like using this double pointed needle up under your needle. It's awkward at first, but it's going to make a world of difference. Now your stitches are going to be nice and tight, but that's okay, because we have built in some room once we're done casting on. So I'm going to check the camera, make sure I was on camera, otherwise I got to take all this out and start over. And so I will see you once I have for me, I'm casting on 80 stitches on my number 8. Just like that. Alright, back in just a minute. Okay, so I've cast on. Alright, so let's see. Tip 1 was to work on a towel. You will see how it will hold your stitches. Tip 2 was to use a double pointed needle up under your needle. Now, after I've cast on and I've counted, and I know that I'm in the range of my 80 stitches. So, I am going to just simply slip. I've counted one time, but I had too many and I slipped some off, so now I need to count again. But I'm going to go ahead now and just slide this double pointed needle out. And now my stitches will slide and just look really nice, just like that. There's room. Some are not, like too tight. So, they're just nice and uniform. All right, so but I need to count again. So I'm going to count real quick, and then let's just real quick. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. All right, I have 40, up to 40, 42, 44, 46, 48. All right, 50. 70, 72, 74, 76, 78, 80. Now, I think I said when I started, if you wanted to increase your size, go up like to 8 stitches. No, it's really 4. So I'm doing 80 stitches, but if I know that I need to have a little larger or a little more room in the band, then I'd go up to 84. Or you can go down 4 stitches. All right. But whatever number you have, that's an even number, I want you to do 1 extra stitch. So I have 80, and I'm going to leave on 1 extra stitch. So in total, I have 81 stitches for my headband. And I'll show you how I join as we start working in the round. So here's my needle. There's my stitches. They're just kind of crumpled up on there. I've counted, and I really should count again, but I'm going to hope that I trust myself. Okay, and you will need a stitch mark eventually. So the first thing I want you to do, first of all, look. The bamboos hold stitches really good if you're still new, and you don't want your stitches to slip off. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm right-handed, so I will be using the working yarn from my right hand. So I need to turn this to my right side, just like that, just right off the bat. Now, if I have a long, long tail that's just too long that I maybe just left too much yarn, yes, that's all right. You can go ahead and snip that off. You can snip some off. There's nothing wrong with that. I put on that 1 extra stitch. Now, on this towel, I want you to move your stitches up to each point. And as you do, we're getting ready to connect into a circular knitting. And I want you to turn this little spine or this little cast on edge. I want to turn all the way to the inside, facing the inside of the circle. Just like this. Just rotate it around on your needle. Lay it down, because the towel will tell you and will hold the stitches and will let you know immediately if you have a twist. You don't want the dreaded twist. Unless your pattern tells you want a twist. Okay. Let's see if I'm on camera. Alright, so first thing I do, I'm right-handed, so I put my working yarn and my tail on the side, on my right side. Then the next thing I do, I line up my stitches, bring them both towards the point. Now I make sure that this inside row right there, all the stitches are pointing towards the center. It's real easy on this little headband, but if you had 279 stitches or 382 stitches, this could make a big difference. You see how it could really help you if you got, in order to make sure that all the stitches are going in the same direction. Does that make sense? Okay, so now I'm set up just like that. Nice and easy. Not sweating. I'm not all upset. I can see clearly that everything is in the right place. Now, I'm going to take my yarn, since I'm right-handed. I'm going to pick up my stitches. Now, you see that last stitch I cast on, I'm going to transfer it from the right hand needle to my left. Just like that. I just pop it over there. Now I'm going to knit these 2 stitches together. Put my needle in. See, now because because I use this needle to cast on, I have good room. I can easily put my needle into the stitch. Now, I'm going to take my tail and the working yarn. Can you see that I'm holding both strands? I'm going to give a tug and I'm going to start right out. When we're working in the round, we do not need connecting stitches like, okay, we need to knit 2 and then start our ribbing, or knit 1 or edge stitch. You simply start out. So I'm going to pull it and I'm going to knit 1, go into the next stitch, hold both tails, both yarns. I'm going to knit 2. There it is. Now, I didn't put my marker yet. For me, it's a lot easier to go all the way around, and when I come to these stitches that that have double yarn, that's when I'll put my marker, because I know that's the beginning of the round. So we are working in rounds now. So I drop the tail. I have a knit 2, yarn in front. Now I simply go into purl 2. Just like this. I love 2x2. I just don't use it on the bottom of my sweaters because of my size, and it just throws things out of proportion because it pulls in. It's nothing. It's not that I don't like it. I think it's very pretty. But you know, after years of working on sweaters, it just looks better on my size. All right, if you get lost, go back, knit 2, purl 2. So then I go knit, look at your bumps, you can read your work, knit 2, purl 2. Now I knit 2. Wait, did I knit? Wait, I was talking, sorry. Sometimes you have to check yourself. Knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl. I need to purl 1 more. Now, yarn in back, and then knit 2. Just like this. And you have a nice smooth circle. The stitches are moving. All right, let's knit 2. So I come in front. Now I purl 2. Yarn in back, knit 2, and you would continue. And since on the 2x2 we started with a knit 2, when we're working flat we need odd numbers, but since we're in the round, I don't want to end with a knit 2 because I started with a knit 2, so I know I should end with a purl 2 when I get to the end of this round, and then I'll place a marker and start the process over. So I'm going to continue around, and then I will meet you when we get closer to the end of this first round. And like I said, if you get lost, just go back and look at your stitches. You have a knit 2, purl 2. Now I simply knit 2, and I will see you back in just a minute. Sometimes we've done so much of the 1x1. Sometimes I find myself doing the 1x1, so pay attention to that. Don't forget you're doing the 2x2 instead of 1x1. All right, see you back shortly. Okay, so I'm coming around this first round, and I can see everything so far. It's just fine. I can lay it on the towel. I can be hands-free and lay things out and check it. Okay, everything's still in the right place, but maybe I miscounted. Maybe I have 1 stitch too many, or I have 1 less stitch too many. Well, all you have to do is back up to a place where you're in the knit stitch. If you have 1 less, just knit into the front and the back of one of the knit stitches, and then continue on, get back in pattern. I have 1 too many because I have knit 2, purl 2. So now I'm getting ready to knit 2 to finish this round, and I see those strands. Remember the double strands? So I know I should end with purl 2, but I have 3 stitches. So you simply yarn in front. I'll purl 2 together, take care of that. So you don't start taking stuff out, just it can be fixed. Purl 2 together and then purl the last stitch. Now I have completed the round because I can see, can you see it right there? I can see where I started with holding those 2 strands together. That's where I'm going to stop and put in my marker, just like that. Now I start the whole process over. This time I have the right number of stitches. I know everything is just great. So now I will knit those 2 strands as 1 stitch. So knit 2, that's 1 and 2, yarn in front, and then purl 2. And if you took your time, you can really read your own stitches. Or hopefully you did not fall into the temptation to do the 1x1 rib, which is usually my downfall when I'm doing 2x2. It's just the rhythm. I just fall back into 1x1, and then I'll do a few stitches before I realize, and then I have to knit back and then get back in pattern. So that's purl 2, knit 2, purl 2. You won't see much of the ribbing yet. And I don't know if it was a good thing that I used this dark yarn. I may have made a faux pas. I may have made a knitting faux pas by using the dark yarn. Okay. So now I knit 2, and then I purl 2. All right, now let's talk a minute. I just got to a place. I have my marker. And now, of course, we start just working around and round, and everything is in place. It's still, you know, it's a lot of stitches on this small needle, so. But let's talk a minute. So now, we're going to work the 2x2 ribbing for at least 8 to 10 rounds. It's up to you. 8 to 10 rounds. I think mine was right at 10 rounds. Each one of my cowls, I did 10 rounds. Okay, so you decide. You work 8 to 10 rounds, and then after working 8 to 10 rounds, then if I'm reading off the information sheet, you can look at it again if you need to. Then you knit 2 rounds. Just knit all the way around one time, and then knit around again. Then that's where we'll meet back and get ready to start our yarn over rows. So right now I've got to knit 8 or 10 rounds of the 2x2 ribbing. Then I knit 2 plain rounds, and then I will meet you when we're ready to start our eyelet or our yarn over round. How does that sound? Okay, just don't fall into the 1x1, because that's what I did. All right, back shortly. All right, so I'm coming up. I just finished either 8 or 10 rounds of the 2x2 ribbing. Just your choice. It's just whatever you think looks nice, or if you just get tired and can't go make it 10, then 8 is good. And then you were to knit 2 rounds. And I'm finishing up on the 2nd round, and now I'm up to my marker, and I'm ready to start the yarn over eyelet row, or the forgetting stitch. So I slide my marker, and to start this stitch, like I said, the only difference between this one and the previous yarn over stitches that we did on another project, this one has more texture. The other one is it's flat. It's more flat than, it doesn't have the texture, and I wanted this to kind of look like baubles. All right, so right off the bat, the first thing I do is yarn over. Oh my gosh, that's it. And knit 2 together. Just from the start. Then the next one, yarn over, knit 2 together. Just like that. Now, everybody has their own preference. Some people like to do the knit 2 together and then yarn over. It's whichever one you can remember, but it's the point of it is not to forget the yarn over. Whether you yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, or if you're the one that likes to do knit 2, yarn over, knit 2, yarn over. The trick of it is whatever you start with, you're going to end with the opposite. So I'm starting with the yarn over, so that means when I get all the way around, I should be ending with knit 2 together, so that 2 yarn overs don't bump into each other, or 2 knit togethers don't bump into each other. So, and then if you lay the work down, like I say, on, if you work on these bamboo needles, you see how it really helps to hold your stitches. If you're still moving up, you're not quite seasoned yet, and you don't want to have to take things out. All right, I can see right there, there's a yarn over and there's a knit 2 together. It's only 2 stitches. Yarn over, knit 2 together. Yarn over, knit 2 together. Yarn over, knit 2 together. Now I don't know how you, on these bamboos, you remember, I caught a sale at Tuesday morning when they were switching out some of the old tips of bamboo, but now I see that you can find both tips. It'll just sell in a package. They have the original tip, which was more of a rounded, softer tip, and then I guess people start complaining or wanted a sharper tip. But I'm telling you, if you're older like me, these sharper tips, if I start talking and can't remember where I am, all you have to do is look at the 2 stitches. There's a yarn over, knit 2 together. So I know I have to yarn over. Always pretty much start with a yarn over, knit 2 together. That way you don't forget. Yarn over, knit 2 together. But these tips are so sharp. So I am so glad that I have a lot of the original or the older tips. I just happened to pick this one up out of the stash. Didn't think about it. But I definitely like the old tips. I guess the old school. Old school for old school. All right, yarn over, knit 2 stitches together. All right, I will continue around and I will see you at this end, and then we'll discuss how many you need to do. Be back in just a sec. All right, I'm coming up on this little headband, so it doesn't take that long to get around because the circumference is small and we don't have that many stitches. And I'm doing the yarn over, knit 2 together. Just like that. And I see I've got 2 stitches left, so yarn over and knit 2 stitches together. All right. Now that, and if you kind of stretch or look back, you can see all the eyelets or the yarn overs. All right. So every time we do a yarn over row, all right, then the next 2 rows, rounds. Every time we do a yarn over round, then the next 2 rounds we simply knit. So here I am up to my marker. I slide the marker. The first thing for me I see is that yarn over, but I just simply start knitting. I knit in every stitch, every yarn over, as I work my way around. Just like that. Just knitting, since we're working this little headband in the round. All right, now I'm going to stop for a minute and we'll talk. And then you can just continue to work on. So I'm just knitting around. I'm going to get to a place I can stop. Okay. Now, so I will knit 1 round and then another round. All right, then I will do the eyelet round again. For me, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together. Then I finish that round. I would do 2 more of just knitting plain rounds. 1, 2. Now, on this headband, back in the day, of course, I may change, you can change up anything, but I did the pattern, this little stitch pattern, 3 times. I didn't think you needed that much room. You don't need that much room for a headband. So I would do the yarn over round and then knit 2 rows, another yarn over round, knit 2 rows, and then another yarn over round and knit 2 rows. At the end of that 2 rows, I will meet you back so that we can go back into the 2x2 ribbing at the top. I don't know why I have the blue over here, these greens. Now on this cowl, of course I want it's much wider, much longer. And I wanted more to, oops, I hit the camera. I want more to show off. So on the cowl, I knit 5 eyelet rows. Eyelet rounds. I did an eyelet round, then knit 2 rows, another eyelet round, knit 2 rows, and you can just simply at the end count up your little holes here. You can just open it up and see how many you have, and you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with 2 rounds in between. And then at the end of the last eyelet round, you knit 2 rows, and then we will come back and of course start the 2x2 ribbing for it. So on the neckband you only need 3. The cowl I would put at least 5 because I really want the little texture or the bauble look to kind of pop out, or little beads, whatever you want to call it. See that? Just real simple, but oh my gosh, it makes a nice little gift, and it just makes it nice and fun to share something, look, that you just made up out of your head. And voila, if you need to change anything, you're free to. So let me continue, and then I will be back shortly. We will at the end of the last eyelet round knit 2 plain rounds, and then we'll be ready for our 2x2 ribbing to end this cowl, or if you're going to do a headband to match. Now see, this is why I like to spend my extra coupons on needles. I just think, to me, it's just why. See, now I finished this one, and I'll show you when I come back. I've taken that needle that I was working this cowl with. Let me back out just a little more. The US 8 that I was working this cowl, I've already cast it on since I know how many stitches I like, and for me it's the 140. It's the length, all right, and so that way I can keep working. I can work more than one little, or you can just keep this as something fun. You don't have to have it for Christmas. Remember, it can be done in just regular worsted weight, where you just do it anytime during the year. Someone's birthday come up, maybe they don't want the bling, maybe you just have some leftover yarn. You can always cast on, if you have extra needles, using coupons, and then you can always cast on the little headband also. And all of this is out of one skein, and a simple same little design, using the same numbers. So I will be back in just a little bit after I complete my rounds. Take care. Just don't lose any yarn overs. Okay, so I'm working on the other one, but I just wanted to show you how it looks in this yarn because it was a little lighter. Now this is the same. This is Karen Simply Soft Party, and it is, I don't know if there's a name on it. Let's see. Oh, this is a violet sparkles. That's all they call it. Can you see it? And like I say, you can tell by the bands they're real old. Why do we buy yarn to say, oh, I'm going to make something special. I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to make something special. And we never do. That's how come we wind up so much yarn. Oh, I'm sure I thought, I'm going to make something. I know, I don't know right now, but I'll think of something. Well, I just thought of something today to get rid of it. Well, I needed some more gifts. And to me, a scarf, you invested in a long scarf. It just takes a while to knit a scarf. But a cowl, you can knit up just like I've knit these in such a short amount of time. And you can change and put any type of pattern you want in it. This was just something that I did way back on that second video when I first came on YouTube, just to let you see the kind of things I was doing, way back in the day. I hadn't branched out as much, and I would just sit and make these little simple cowls and little headbands out of yarn that I was going to do something special with. I need to hold on to it. So, as you can see, this is why, like I said, I like extra needles. I've already cast it on, and all I have to do is, while I'm watching TV, when I don't really want to concentrate on anything, I can put the ribbing on this a particular cowl or headband. Or, let me show you this. I was, as I was looking, I thought, well, this would also look nice for people that are in much colder weather or just like a little heavier yarn. I looked in my stash, and lo and behold, I've got some novelty yarn. Everybody's got novelty yarn. This is Red Heart Medley. Red Heart Medley. I don't know how long I've had this yarn. I'm sure I bought it in one of the clearance things or something. But it's a number 5, and they call for size 11 needle. Well, I would probably do a number 10. I don't think I'd want this in an 11. It would be too loose. So I would drop down to a number 10 on this. So on my, on my band, I would write down here just to remind me a US number 10. But now if you like 11's fine. All right, but let me just show you. Since this stitch is not really a pattern so much, it's more of a texture. Okay, there you go. And I'm thinking, well, why wouldn't I be able to use this for somebody? Maybe I know someone who might like, colors like this. It may be showing up dark on the camera. Maybe if I hold it back, you can see more of there's all kind of little mixture of colors, greens and pinks and blues and just a whole, but it's not like a variegated, it's just a mixture. Let's see if there's a name for it on here. I probably don't have the name on here. I don't know, it's so old, you probably can't get it anyway. It's probably a discontinued yarn. That's what we wind up with. A lot of yarns we can't match or yarns that are discontinued. Well, I think I will use this, and for someone who, blue is one of the standout colors. Someone who wears a lot of denim or likes blues, this will be perfect to do them a headband and a cowl. So what do you think? So, very easy, a lot of fun, and quick to do. And look, we get to use up our stash. All right, so now back to the one I'm working in real time. Let me check the camera, see where I am. Okay, I'm good. All right. And I've already worked my 3. Remember I said just 3 of these eyelet rows is good enough, and I can count the eyelet holes, 1, 2, 3. And then I knit 2 rounds, and now I'm finishing up that last round, and we just go back into the 2x2 knit, 2x2 ribbing. Just start here, and then start again. Knit 2, yarn in front, purl 2. Knit 2. You've already got this memorized, I know. I know you're saying right now, Jay, I got this memorized. I'm sitting right up here in my bed, and I'm watching you, and I've already decided I see some yarn. I can look across the room and see some yarn I need to use up. Knit 2, 1, knit 2, purl 2. Knit 2. Don't get, sometimes, I go back into the 1x1 rib. That's my only downfall with this one, because I don't do 2x2 that much. See? Knit 2, purl 2. Now knit 2. And of course, whatever, oops. Alright, however many, I'm just messing up. Let me stop. Okay, so what I want to say is, however many of these rounds you did on the bottom, you just want to finish it out with the top. And then, of course, bind off in the 1x1, in the 2x2 ribbing, 2x2J. Bind off in the 2x2 ribbing. Now, that's the only faux part, that's just part of knitting. And I went on the YouTube because people, there is the cast on edge that's so pretty. Then you have the cast off edge that just drives everybody crazy. So I was going to try some of the stretchy bind offs. Here's the cast on, nice and pretty, and then the bind off edge, even when you bind off in the 2x2 pattern, it just looks different. But I just didn't feel like doing that on this simple project. I just thought, well, you know what, I will maybe practice, try some of the stretchy bind offs on something else. But this was to get done, and I would wear the bind off edge at the bottom. I would put my cast on edge at the top. And when you finish the cowl and it's all done, this yarn is so soft, it folds in on itself like this. It just folds in automatically. So really the cowl wind up looking like this around your neck. It doesn't have the weight. It's not heavy enough. The yarn is not heavy enough to really stand up, just stand up really tall. Maybe like this one. I'm sure when I do this one, it will probably stand up because it's a heavier yarn. And I'm going to use, like I said, number 10 to make the fabric nice and tight. So there's the neck warmer. It looks almost like a hat, doesn't it? But you saw me wear it, and it is really pretty. Like saying, you can try to get it to stand up a little bit if you can, but I would simply put the cast on edge at the top and use the cast off edge as the bottom. And you can mark it in the back, wherever you, you know. Let's see, where's my little, I already took that one off, but wherever the back of it is, you can just either put your label, like right here. I can put my label, I don't really have a label. A lot of times I'll put a little button or tie a little bow back there. Just a little tiny yarn bow out of this. Just so that I will always know where the back is. And I've got my marker and I've got my little tail. And once I'm done and I'm bound off, it's done and ready to be boxed. Now wouldn't that be pretty if I put this in a pretty bag? How about going over to the Dollar Tree? Oh my gosh, I just got an idea. How about if I go over to the Dollar Tree and get some of these little balls, and then of course you can run some pretty yarn through the. Let's see, can I do that? Hold on a minute. You know, it's all about how it looks when you give it to the person. Here's my yarn needle, and here's some pretty like yarn, or you can use yarn, or you can use ribbon if you don't have ribbon, but. Just pull it through. Well, I just tore that up. Let's see if I can get it through. I'll pop that back on. All right, let's pop that back on. There we go. And then I can tie a real pretty little bow at the top and put this in with my gift. An overhanded bow that drapes down. And then I can just lay it there. And then, of course, I got to finish my headband. And let's see. Let's get the shot. Let's see how it looks. Let's bring it in a little bit. What do you think of that? It would go with any of these colors. Let's try it with the white. I don't have a headband, though. Isn't that pretty? It'd be pretty all boxed up. Well, let's see. Did I cover everything for you to finish this? Let me think. It's fast. It's easy. It's a great way to use up your stash. And it's a great gift. Just like the 3 wise men came to worship the Christ. I think it's a great way it's a great way to take that same love and that same, I don't know, and share it. I think we can all agree that we need more of the gift of the Magi than what we are getting right now. We've just kind of lost something for each other. So what a great way to just end the year, end this season. Because, you know, Jesus is a reason for the season. Without him, none of this would be possible. So, I've got lots of things to box up and finish up, and I know you do too. I want to thank you first of all for all the beautiful comments and all the fellowship that we've had for this year, how you've kept me encouraged. I know you probably think, oh, Jay's always up. No, when I'm off camera, I'm living just like you, trying not to listen and watch what's going on, and just trying to keep myself in the moment of my life, but doing what I can when I can for someone else. But this is a great way to come together. Something as simple as some yarn can make a fellowship between people from all over the world. We're more like people than we are separate. We get up, we go to sleep, we eat, we work. We're so much alike. We care for our children. We worry about, the world. And we really want to do good in every way that we possibly can. So, as we look forward to the new year, I'm wishing you and yours a very, very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And I look forward to sharing more of whatever it is that I'm going to be led to do. I'm already thinking about it for next year. Until then, this is Jay. This is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. Wishing you, again, a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. See ya.